Good evening. It's another episode of videos for my son. I imagine he's 18 to 20 years old. I'm walking along with him as I take the dog for a walk, and I'm talking to him about things I've learned in life. I've been talking about a lot of serious stuff recently to him, but now I think this one I'll talk a little bit about occupation and work, the nature of work. Maybe not the nature of work, that's more deep, but just making occupational choices. It'll be interesting to see where we go from here. This is being recorded in first day of 2026, so there might be a lot of changes happening to the economy in the next 10 years, 15 years. So I think for me, growing up, for me, the main thing everybody used to always say in the early 2000s or in the 90s and 2000s is do what you like, do what you're passionate about. My dad used to always say, hey bub, if you love what you're doing, you never work a day in your life. Things like that. And there is truth to that. But I think there's also, it hides a reality. It hides the truth that there's also times where we don't get to do what we want, but that's for the better, right? There's other high priorities in life other than your job or your occupation, and you have to figure that out. And for some people, they don't really have any choice. And maybe they'll be in an economic situation where you just get whatever job you can get to feed yourself, feed your family. There have been times like that in America's history and in world history. In fact, those times are probably more common than not. And so if that's the case, right, find joy in what you're doing. Try to find the little things that you could do in that. Do them well. Do them to the best of your ability. Again, just depending on the economic situation, right? Maybe you're rejoicing that you have a job. And if that's the case, then that's great. But if times continue to go all right, and you do have some say as to what you end up doing with your life, give thought to work-life balance. Give thought to the type of companies and organizations you like. Give thought to how you operate in the world. Right now you're so young still. I see how you, certain ways you operate, but I don't know how those grand arcs of your life will be refined. I'm still learning, and so I think it's hard for me to talk about this because I'm still learning, as you know. You'll look back on your life, you'll see this year as last couple of years, a year of transition. It's been hard for your mom and I, and you've asked, like, hey Dada, are we poor? And I'm like, well, we're probably one step above poor. So I don't know if I'm a good person to give advice on this, but I think the advice I do have is don't follow your passion. Like, every work, and if you do, don't be surprised that there's going to be work in that passion. Like every job has things that you're going to not like doing. Every job's going to have things where you're like, this is the, going back to Genesis, this is the sowing and harvesting with blood, sweat, and tears. That's not what it says in Genesis, I know. But I'm blanking on the actual words right now, what it says in Genesis. But every job, even the jobs people love, will have aspects. No, don't eat that. Sorry, I look like vomit on the sidewalk. So, I there's so many different things to occupations. I don't know why I chose to talk about this one today. Goodness, I should have definitely thought about this more. And probably I will. So, I might just leave it at that as I think through these thoughts some more. Because I'm still wrestling with it. And maybe that's why I wanted to talk about it, just to let you know you could be an old man, an old geezer like your pop, and still be wrestling with these ideas of occupation, career, making these choices. The way how God brought me to where I am today is never what I would have chosen in 1,000 years. But at each step of the way, you look back and I'm like, could I have made a different choice? And there's a couple of times in my life I definitely can pinpoint, like, I definitely could have made a different choice there. People say, well, there's a lot of science fiction literature about opportunities of people going back and reliving all the options that they had, and it usually comes out about the same, and they always come out about the same person making the same choices along the way. And maybe there's definitely been moments where things have been on knife's edges. I could have gone one way or the other. And yeah, so I don't know if that holds true. I guess that's a completely different topic than occupation, though. Sorry, buddy. You know how I get sometimes. Get kind of rambly. All right, I love you. I'll think more about this. I'll talk to you later.